Let me ask you about the price to Israel of this ongoing conflict. The staggering number of dead civilians on the Palestinian side in Gaza. And the fact that just this week you had condemnation around the world by the targeting of a UN school that killed children and those civilians who were fleeing a safe place to go in the fighting. Was this a mistake on the part of Israel, even though the UN says this was clearly marked and that the Israeli forces knew the GPS coordinates of this school?
Well, first of all, Hamas is responsible for the deaths of civilians. We're not targeting a single civilian. We're responding to Hamas action, and we're telling the civilians to leave. Hamas is telling them to stay. Why is it telling them to stay? Because it wants to pile up their own dead bodies. They not only want to kill our people, they want to sacrifice their own people.
But where can they go? You say they should leave. Where can they reasonably go?
I'll get to.
Okay.
I'll tell you, there are plenty of places they can go to, but Hamas is making sure that they don't go anywhere. Now, let me tell you about the UN school. Secretary General of the United Nations, before this incident took place, said that, admitted that 2 UN schools in Gaza were used to stockpile rockets, and he condemned Hamas. He condemned Hamas for turning these schools into military targets, legitimate military targets. Now, we still do not target schools. These schools, the environs of these schools were used to attack us. Our forces responded, but our initial investigation now doesn't show that it's our fire. It actually shows that it may have been Hamas rocket fire. That's still being investigated. But the important thing to understand is that the reason we have civilians killed is not because Israel is targeting civilians, but because Hamas is using civilians as human shield.
But Prime Minister,
we use missiles to protect our people. They use their people to protect their missiles.